Welcome back, everybody, to the Now Morning Show. It is time for our Leaders of Now segment, and this morning we are going across the Guyana Carry because we don't want to just showcase what we have in Trinidad, but also in the region as well.
Yeah, and youth around the world, and for us specifically in the Caribbean diaspora, we like to showcase our own.
Yeah, and we are going to touch base with Malcolm Jamol Wills, who is a 23-year-old Guyanese entrepreneur, youth business developer, and physiotherapy student pursuing a bachelor's in medical rehabilitation at the University of Guyana. Malcolm, good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning.
So tell me, who is Malcolm Jamol Wills?
All right, so as you said before, I'm a 23-year-old Guyanese. Currently pursuing a bachelor's in physiotherapy at the University of Guyana. I'm an entrepreneur also by heart. Just recently, about 8 months ago, I started an entrepreneurial venture called Dynamic 3D, which is one of the first 3D printing businesses or services offered here in Guyana. But my focus more so is on printing 3D printed prosthetics since I'm a physiotherapy student and one of the group of patients that I would have come into contact with are amputees. And I realized that over here, the price for prosthetic devices are extremely high. So one of the solutions myself and my colleague came up with is 3D printing as an alternative. So currently, that's what my business is focusing.
How does that work, the 3D printing?
Okay, so for persons that have never heard of 3D printing before, it's basically a form of what we would call additive manufacturing. So compared to subtractive manufacturing where you cut and take out and so basically in 3D printing you just continue to add additional layers. So it uses a 3D printer. First you create a 3D model of what you're looking to make and then you feed that image into the 3D printer and it basically prints each prints a model layer by layer. It's really an amazing process.
Malcolm, you said that you manufacture prosthetics. Do you design them yourself as well?
Okay, so we haven't actually started manufacturing so far. We've just printed a couple prototypes, so we're still in the testing phase. As it relates to designs, most of the designs we source online or we customize the designs using our own 3D modeling software.
Wow, when you said customize, you said, well, you're studying the Bachelor of Physiotherapy within the medical sciences.
Yeah, correct.
Would you have been in contact with people who would need prosthetics, and then have you therefore fashioned any custom based on their needs?
Okay, so yeah, I have been speaking to the National Amputee Clinic here in Guyana. The director there, she is on board with this program. She thinks it's a really good one, a really good alternative, especially considering the amount that they pay currently for prosthetic equipment. As it relates to customization and needs, we're still doing our market research to see what exactly it is that persons would prefer. So we're still in that testing phase.
Yeah, you talked about being involved in this for the last 8 months with the business. How has that gone so far for the first 8 months?
All right. So 3D printing has a lot of applications, a lot. There's a lot of things that you can make in terms of decorative pieces. In other countries such as China, they're using 3D printing to make houses even. So what we've been doing over the past 8 months is really exploring the different applications of 3D printing. So for the past 8 months, we've been printing event decor, we've been printing merch, different merchandise, like for the recent Game of Thrones hit that they had during April, we printed some Game of Thrones merch and that was a hit. So we've basically been selling those type of products in order to raise capital.
And I know you have been raising some awareness on social media. What is that all about?
All right, so basically we've just been raising awareness on what exactly is 3D printing because it's a relatively new concept to the Caribbean and more so a new concept to my country, Guyana. So basically we've just been introducing it, let people know what it is, what it's about, and basically what it can do.
And how are talks going with the Inter-American Development Bank? I know you recently had talks with them.
Yeah, so we've been in contact with the Inter-American Development Bank as well, and they've been a great support on this project. They've given us a lot of technical advice and a lot of technical support, and we're very much grateful for that. We've also been in contact with the CDB recently. I was a part of the CDB Vibes in Regional Outreach Program, right, in Trinidad and Tobago. And during that program, I really got to engage with a lot of other young entrepreneurs within the Caribbean and more so connect and build that type of networking and support base. So we have some partners that are very much interested in this project that have been giving us assistance, both technical and somewhat financial.
Yeah. Now, I have a list of some of the things that you've achieved, and this one really stood out to me. A client has also reached out to us who has had a congenital amputation on his left hand, who would like for us to print and assemble a 3D printed prosthetic hand. We are hoping that we will be able to print and assemble such an arm for the client. How long ago was this, and where have you reached with it?
Okay, so currently we are working with our client. His name is Elson. We have been working with him for the past couple of weeks or so. We've actually started printing the arm for him,
Okay.
and I give it an approximate 2 weeks before we're finished. So by then we'll be able to do some testing and so and see how that works. So we're working very closely with him. He's very excited about this project as we are.
Well, I'm hoping that when it's finished, we'll be able to get a look at it to see how it
Yeah,
comes out,
that-
Carrie. Would you
Yeah,
be
and see
interested
how
in
it
seeing
functions. You know, it's really fantastic work you're doing. And speaking of which, where do you see this coming to a pinnacle? What's your ultimate goal for your project you're working on?
Okay, so our ultimate goal really is to scale up and bring this to a stage where 3D printed prosthetics are basically of the same quality or somewhat even better quality than the traditional mechanical prosthetic devices. We're also looking to see how we can integrate robotics into 3D printed prosthetics. So that's basically our goal for the next year. And basically working on developing our product and making it something that persons would actually be able to use and be able to improve the lives of persons with amputations.
Wow, you know, it's really amazing what you're doing, and you know, the fact that you are trying to give the most value to people rather than focusing on the financial side of things. You know, I do expect many good things to come out of the good work that you're doing. So with that, Malcolm, I want to thank you for joining us this morning and congratulate you on the work you've been doing thus far. And of course, he's a leader of now.
Definitely, and I'm impressed because I have never really heard a lot about 3D printing and prosthetics. So it's good that we can have somebody from the region really looking into this and hopefully not just keep it in Guyana when everything is good, but he also mentioned, you know, have leaders, young entrepreneurs, developers from the region itself work with them. So it is a good opportunity. So probably we could get some contact information. And if you're interested in working with them, you know, you might be
Yeah,
able to
that's
have
right.
some sort of valuable input at some point in
That's
time.
right.